The second recipient of the Engineering Medal for Engineering Excellence is engineer Cory Jones.
My father is my biggest influence in becoming an engineer. When I was 16, we actually had the opportunity to work on a water treatment plant project in my home community of Neoshingnaming. And that gave me the opportunity to see what engineering was. And not only that, but the impact that it has, what project completion means to people. Before that, my community didn't have a centralized water system. Everybody was on wells. There was constant issues of E. coli, poor water quality in the community. The interesting piece of that was that the company that designed the water system in my community was R.J. Burnside and Associates. And so 25 years later, I am still with the Burnside group of companies. And about 6 years ago was appointed the president, which allows me to really instill my values and my vision for what we want to do as a firm to becoming the majority owner of what is now an Indigenous-led firm. Working with First Nation communities does present some unique challenges. One of the big ones right off the bat is just establishing a level of respect. I tell all of our people when they start working with First Nation communities that you can't go in with any preconceived ideas of what the issues are here. Every community has a unique story. You need to understand how they got to where they're at and understand where they are before you can start thinking about what those solutions might be for them. But when you're there on the ground and you're working with those communities, there's things that they know and that they can share that can improve your project delivery, that can improve your solution, that you might not have thought of from a traditional perspective. And the other part of it is the remoteness of some of these communities. It makes the projects much more challenging to deliver. But in the end, what we're delivering is much needed within the communities. We've been lucky over the last 25 years to be involved in a number of notable projects. We were tasked by the federal government to undertake what's known now as the National Water Wastewater Assessment of First Nation communities. That required us to visit as many of the 630 First Nation communities across the country as possible and do an assessment of their water and wastewater facilities. More than 10 years later, there's still a few people that get a little bit of shakes when you mention that project. There's communities that they've never been able to turn their taps on and drink water from their taps. You know, it's being able to go into a community and help them put a system in place that allows them to participate in what so many of us just totally take for granted. I feel that I've accomplished a number of things in my career. Early in my career, I never would have saw being at a point where I could influence a company, maybe not necessarily an industry, but be able to provide the level of service that we do to an Indigenous client group. One of the other things that we see on a large scale with our Indigenous communities is they're at the forefront of impacts from climate change. And we want to be prepared to assist them in whatever challenges that might make. My reaction when I learned that I was winning this award was shock and awe, but while surprised, I do feel that this is something that will help maybe bring importance of working with Indigenous communities.
In recognition of his engineering commitment and work with Indigenous communities, engineer Cory Jones is being honored with the Engineering Medal in the Engineering Excellence category.